All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Juniper Level Botanic Garden, the home of Plant Delights Nursery. My name is Ben Helde, and I am the plant record specialist and taxonomist here. So I manage all of the plant labels and among other kind of species-based work in the garden with a lot of our specialty collections. So today we're going to be talking about spring ephemerals with a focus on some of our native Trillium species. And I'll start over here actually with this is an ephemeral species that is kind of not what a lot of us think of as a spring ephemeral. Usually our native ephemerals are more woodland species like Trilliums and Sanguinarias, the Bloodroots and things like that. But this technically is also an ephemeral. So it, rather than it trying to beat the competition of trees leafing out, it is trying to beat the heat. So this is native to northern Africa, and it's actually a hybrid of a Cantabricus species. And so it will go dormant later this season after it produces seed in a very short period in order to beat that really hot, dry condition of northern Africa. So we'll head this way into the garden where we'll look at some kind of more traditional woodland ephemerals, and feel free to ask any questions as we go.
That has a label of Narcissus.
Right.
So it's the Narcissus family?
Right, yeah. So not all Narcissus are from North Africa, but Narcissus is the genus for daffodil, and that is a petticoat style, so there are different classifications of daffodils. That's the petticoat or bulbocodium group, and they have that really nice round yellow flower. One of the earliest to come up of all the Narcissus. While we're also enjoying a lot of Hellebores coming up, particularly the hybridus are in full flower right now. These aren't considered ephemerals because they have evergreen foliage, so they don't really attempt kind of the same evolutionary path as a lot of the ephemerals that we'll see a little bit later on. All right. So this is one of Tony's collections from Alabama of our native Sanguinaria canadensis, also commonly known as bloodroot. So this has a very wide native range on our east coast. And it is very interesting. Obviously the flowers are absolutely gorgeous, and it has just now emerging kind of finger-like lobed foliage that comes out kind of glaucous-y blue. It's a beautiful color. And when seed sets on this plant, it has relationships with ants. So it has a coating on the seed called an elaiosome, which ants are attracted to. So they'll collect the seed kind of for us and disperse it naturally when they go back to their homes. So that is how this plant not only adapted to kind of spring conditions when there's an open canopy, but also adapts to its local, I guess, fauna through insect help rather than wind or water or whatever it may be. So we have here a collection of Mertensia virginica, or the Virginia bluebell. So this plant, the flowers come up with the foliage, if not a little after. So we're just starting to get some flowers on here. They range from pink to purple, and the foliage is obviously very bright and fresh this time of year, which I think is just a really, really wonderful look. Yeah, it's just a great plant for the garden. It obviously spreads somewhat readily. It seeds around, as you can see, picking up kind of here and there. I've seen whole hillsides covered in this, and it's a really great, beautiful spring ephemeral. So this is a selection of Trillium recurvatum called Arcadia. Has a very slender red petiole, kind of similar to many of our other native trilliums. It has a sessile flower, which means that the flower comes directly out of the top, connected kind of to those leaves, rather than a pedicellate flower, which will have a secondary little pedicel, and the flower will kind of nod off of that. This collection was selected for kind of its running habit, and it does have kind of more of an ability to move around than some of the other trilliums, which tend to clump. So just thought this was a great one to highlight. Obviously beautifully mottled leaves similar to other trilliums. And then across the way here, we have Hepatica acuta I believe this is also, let me check my notes. I don't have the collection information for where this specific individual was collected, but also has a very wide native range, kind of the Appalachian Mountains down south. And beautiful white flower, can sometimes turn a bit of like a palish purple color. And we have two species, or two main species native to our region or this area, acuta loba and americana. Acuta loba, the specific epithet refers to kind of the pointed lobe. So it has a three-lobed leaf, and I guess they have acute points on acuta loba. Americana is more of a rounded leaf, but we cut back the old foliage in the late winter time so that it can reflush. So there's actually no foliage, just flower for us today. And then we'll head around this way on the path. Obviously not an ephemeral, but if you smell something very sweet, kind of like Fruit Loops, that would be this Lonicera fragrantissima, a really great shrub that is extraordinarily fragrant, a favorite of mine. Another very well-known spring ephemeral for our area is Podophyllum peltatum. And this cultivar selection is called Maid Marian. So obviously it has the tendency to spread, so it spreads via rhizome. And the specific epithet peltatum comes from the fact that the leaf is peltate, meaning that the petiole comes up to the center of the leaf, and then the leaf radiates kind of in a circular fashion around that petiole. And the common name for this plant is Mayapple. So you can see here, it's very hard because they are purposefully hidden, but there are some flower buds here coming out of the petiole as well. And they will turn into these bright green fruits in and around May and June, hence the common name Mayapple. Yeah, the flower is also nodding, very hidden, but if you do find it, it's a white flower, and it's also very lovely. So this is Trillium maculatum. Kanapaha giant is the selection. It is indeed giant, and it's a collection from northern Florida. Has very thick petioles and some really beautiful deep burgundy flowers. This emerges very early in the season, so it often can see temperatures of the low to mid 20s, if not even a little lower than that, and it bounces back remarkably well. So sometimes I'll come in the morning on a 25-degree day and the stems are fully fallen over, the foliage is touching the ground, and by the end of the day, as long as it gets up above freezing, a little warmer, those stems will come right back up and the whole plant will become turgid again. It's been here for over a month, if not a month and a half, and it's still looking great. So it's another great selection of Trillium maculatum. This is a selection of a Dentaria heterophila, and this is Pinson Prize. It has really quite unusual dissected foliage that has a really nice purple edge to it. And then the flowers are kind of a cross shape. They're four-petaled, and this plant is related to a lot of the other vegetables that we eat every day. So cabbage and Brussels sprouts and collard greens. And they were called, I guess a lot of people call them cruciferous plants, and that refers to the crucifix or crucifix, referring to that four-petaled pattern. So a very kind of underappreciated ephemeral, I feel, in our area. It's a really beautiful flower show, and the foliage is really nice as well. So this is another one of our non-native ephemerals. This is Cyclamen coum, and it is the spring emerging and flowering cyclamen. So the heterofoliums, which is the other most common ivy leaf cyclamen, had been finished flowering quite a few months ago, around December or maybe January for some of the others. But this is flowering now, a beautiful pinwheel flower. And it has a much rounder leaf than heterofolium. So it's kind of like a bit more petite in stature, which I personally tend to really enjoy. I like the kind of treasure box effect that it has. And it will also go summer dormant, similar to other of our native ephemerals. And kind of more similarly to the narcissus that we started with, this is a Mediterranean plant, so oftentimes it's going dormant, especially in sunnier locations, in order to beat the heat rather than to kind of outcompete with the forest. But we have obviously sited it in both shade and sun, and it's done well kind of in both locations, so it's a very adaptable plant. And then the last plant that I have for all of you today is this Trillium underwoodii, which has also been up for over a month, and as you can tell, the foliage is starting to get a little ratty, but that beautiful silver streak with the dark edges and its extremely large stature really makes for quite a nice, I guess, floral display, and just looks really great this time of year. I guess I can also mention, I guess the name Trillium, tri, has to do with the number of leaves, sepals, and petals that these plants have. So very symmetrical arrangement with 3 petals, 3 sepals, and 3 leaves. So very unusual plant in the Melianthaceae family. And yeah, we have, I mean, a very wide diversity of Trilliums here, both pedicellate and sessile. Generally the sessile flowering species grow best for us. But we are offering Trilliums in the nursery if you're interested in getting some of your own. They're not as finicky or scary as many people tend to think. So yeah, thank you for listening. Let me know if any of you have any questions. Happy to answer, and appreciate your time. Thanks.